Well, I'm an implementation project manager, putting software systems in for a professional services organisation. A successful project is a project that is delivered on time, to specification, and with a happy customer, and obviously we make a profit out of it as well. But to have a happy customer at the end and a successful project that does what it's supposed to be doing. If you were to talk about Prince 2, it meets its business objective.
Okay.
All right, so that's what your aim is in a Prince 2 project, is to meet. Okay. You have quite regular meetings. One of the things that, as a project manager, you should be having absolutely lots of meetings with your clients. Updates once a day are usually quite good. It just keeps them informed and knowing what's going on in the project, keeps them part of the process. But you will get times where a customer, they don't know what their requirement is at the start of the project completely. They've got an idea about what it is, and as you build the system for them, they'll realise that there are new functionality that they could possibly have, or that they didn't think of that they might require, and you'll always get the element of scope creep into a project.
How do you deal with that?
How do you deal with it? Well, at the start of a project, one of the things that you should do is you should sign off on scope. So you have an agreement of scope. It's usually I wouldn't say high level, it's detailed to the functional points that you're delivering. If the item is going to be too large to be able to fit into the project and too costly, then it'll have to go through what's called change control, where basically we would estimate how that might cost, how it might impact the project, and then the customer would decide whether they want to meet that cost and are prepared for the project to extend. The other part is if it's a small piece of functionality and it's not going to take much extra time and it's not going to affect the length of the project, then generally escalations happen because deadlines are slipping. We haven't been able to meet their expectation. Their expectation from sales was not what they actually agreed to. You've signed off the scope document with them. They get into the project and they go, "Oh no, we were led to believe," is quite a common term. We were led to believe that we would get this as well, and you have to point out that well, it's not in the scope, and then that's going to affect their project. Or the system doesn't do it, is another one. So generally, escalations, you'll have an escalation process as part of your setup of your project. Normally, you would try to address it by empathising with the customer, trying to find a workaround or a solution that would alleviate the problem. If that didn't work, then generally it will go up to your manager, and then they'll have a chat to the project sponsor, and try to come up with a solution that both companies are happy with. I mean, as a project manager, your job is to keep the project on track and keep the scope from slipping or moving too much. If you can't do that, then generally an escalation might occur and it'll go generally upstairs.
Okay. And what if you were recruiting for someone to join a project team? What sort of skills would you be looking for?
You need an ability to keep yourself organised. Generally, at the start of every week, I go through and look at all the actions that I need to get done that week. What my implementation consultants are doing, what meetings I've got, what I've got to prepare for those meetings. So it requires a lot of organisation. You do need to keep yourself well scheduled. It requires a lot of people skills.
In what sense?
In what sense? Well, you're generally managing people, plus you're also managing clients. So you've got to have good customer-facing skills. You've got to also have good people management skills. So you need to keep your guys motivated, on track, and delivering. So you've got to be on top of what they're doing, and you also have to manage the expectations of your client, the workload of your client, because your client will also have a project wrapped around, and especially in software implementation, they'll have a change management program where for them to put that software in. You have to keep them on track. They have to provide things for you, for information. They have to sign documents off, those sorts of things. So you've got to be tough, but you've got to be soft at the same time, if you know